Hello everyone, True Zero Emissions here. So I'm at 18 amps and the charger, the Roger charger, which can be found just by looking up the Roger charger on YouTube. You'll find it, you'll figure out how to connect with him. There's links to how to connect with Roger, or go to Alien Ride's website and see a similar charger, which is called a hypercharger. These chargers can charge, now I'm up to 18 amps right now. Now, when I went above that, I think I went to like 23 amps, because I know the battery management system in the Dualtron Thunder 2 can handle 56 amps. But I don't know what the charger can handle, because what happened is, when I got up to about 24 amps, the charger went to zero. It just switched to zero. Now, I don't know why it did that. My understanding is that this battery management system in this Dualtron Thunder 2 can handle 56 amps. The BMS can handle 56 amps. So what's happening? Why did it go to zero when I got to 24 amps, right? So let's see if we can go to 20 amps. Now I noticed when I got to about 17 or 18 amps, the charging fan, the fans in the charger turned up, and they turned to a higher speed. Let's see if we can go to 20 if it stay there. We're at 20 amps right now. That's a lot of power. We're at 20 amps right now, okay? 20 amps. Let's see what our watts look like. 1,691 watts. That is a lot of power. That's the most power that I've ever charged any scooter battery in my life. And this is the Dualtron Thunder 2, everyone. It has a 56 amp input battery management system. That's very powerful. Okay, my question to myself, my rhetorical question, which doesn't have to be answered right now, but I'm thinking about it, is why when I got up to 24 amps, because I can set the amperage on this charger, I love that. When I was turning the amps up, when I got to 24 amps, it went to zero. It went back to zero. I'm just feeling the battery right now. And the aluminum that houses the battery is cold. That's because the weather is cold, but it's not getting hot right now, which is a good sign. I would like to know exactly what all the cells' temperatures are. But what are we at here? This is reading 62%. We've been charging for approximately 20 minutes. And I started the charge at 16 amps. And I just went up to 20 amps. Now, that is a lot of power. I'm very happy to be able to do that. I can tell you right now that on the Wolf King GTR, when I tried to go to 20 amps, the charger went to zero. I don't know why it did that. Now on that scooter, I thought maybe the BMS did it, right? But when I know for certain that the BMS on this scooter, the Dualtron Thunder 2, can handle 56 amps, why is it going to zero when I get to 24 amps? Is it something with the BMS? Is it protecting the battery? Is it the charger? Well, I'm able to charge the Dualtron Thunder 2 at more power than I was able to charge the Wolf King GTR. I couldn't go to 20 amps charge on the Wolf King GTR. It just went to zero when I went past 19 amps. So I could probably keep it at 19 amps, and as long as the battery doesn't get hot, right? That's the important thing. We never want a lithium battery to get hot, ever. I am charging this Dualtron Thunder 2 at 1,698 watts. That's almost 1,700 watts. That's almost 2,000 watts, everyone, going in there. I'm going to go a little higher just to see what happens. So I'm turning the amps dial, the current dial. We're increasing the amperage right now. Okay, I just went to 21 amps. Let's see what that gives us watts. All right, amps times volts is watts. 1750 watts. That's a lot of power that we're charging that battery at. Now, I was always taught that slow charging is the worst thing we can do for a lithium battery. It's the opposite of what we read. And I've also been told that the reality is entirely made up, and You know, things are just made up. We're just literally made up. Remember Shakespeare said all the world's a stage and we're all actors in this world, right? So who gave us our lines that we speak? Who gave us those those lines? And do we think for ourselves, right? Okay. Let's go a little higher. We're at 22 amps. 22 amps. You saw it. What's our watts up to? 1,838 watts. Now, you know, people can make fun of this and say, oh, the battery's gonna die so fast, it's not gonna have a long life. But while everybody is charging their scooter still, I'm gonna be riding my scooter because the charging time is cut down dramatically. There's a lot less time to charge when I'm charging at a lot of power like this, right? It charges much, much faster. So what I like is really high quality battery, really high quality scooter, really high quality charger, and charging at a lot of power. Now this absolutely cannot be done if we're using the lowest cost cells, right? That can't handle quick charging. We're talking about a Dualtron Thunder 2, which by many is said to be the best scooter on the planet. And they have a Dualtron Thunder 3, if I recall correctly, that came out. And but people still love the 2 as well. And I'm sure the 3 is at least as good as the 2. It's probably even better, right? They improved the stem. Okay, so since my channel is like my journal, I'm going to talk about what happened with my Wolf King GTR right now while I'm charging the scooter up. Let me keep an eye on the temperature underneath here and see if I feel any warmth at all. I'm feeling the bottom of the scooter, which is a heat sink, right? The body of the scooter acts as a heat sink for the battery. So if I feel any warmth anywhere underneath the scooter, I would immediately turn down the power to the battery. But I feel everything's cold right now, except the charger. That's warm. Actually, the charger cooled off because when I turned the power up, the fans kicked into a higher speed, which I didn't even know it had that ability. I did not know that the fans had a higher, more powerful RPM speed when I put more of a demand on it. That charger cooled off. It's cooler now than it was when I was charging at 16 amps. Because at 16 amps, the fan was at a low RPM, a low speed. And then when I went to 19 amps and 20 amps, or one of those numbers, one of those higher numbers, the fans increased their speed a lot. I could hear them. They got much louder. And then the whole charger cooled off. So I want to say thank you, Roger. Very good design. This is a Roger charger. And Roger mentions the charger available on Alien Ride's website called a hypercharger, which is similar looking to this, but it limits the current so you can't accidentally overcharge your battery. It limits it. But it also has the ability to charge at a very high amperage, but it won't let you overcharge the battery, which is a good. I want to get both. I like this one, but I would also like to have the other one so I can compare the two. So I may get the other one at some point in time. So what I was going to say to you, and this probably should be a different video, but I'm just going to share a story with you of what happened recently with the Wolf King GTR. Now that scooter is really, really fast. I had changed the throttle. Okay, first of all, I'm really loving the Dualtron Thunder 2 right now because it has such powerful braking. And the Wolf King GTR, the braking is not as, how do I say this? I'm so terrible at comparing two scooters. I don't want to put down a scooter. I don't want to make one sound less good or better. You know what I mean? I don't want to put scooters down. But I want to say that I like the braking on the Dualtron Thunder 2. I like the braking system on it very much. And the Wolf King GTR, I'm not very happy with the braking system on it. Now I know that I can change the calipers that squeeze the rotors, that squeeze the discs, right? The calipers, those can be changed. But my question is, can I change those and still use my electronic regenerative braking, right? Can I still use that? Because I think on the Wolf King GT Pro, I thought I was told that if I changed the calipers to a better caliper, that I would lose my electronic braking, and I didn't want to do that because I like electronic braking. I also like the electronic braking on the Dualtron Thunder 2 I like the electronic braking. I have it set at level 5, I think it's called. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure if it's 5, whatever the maximum strength is, so that I can be walking the scooter, literally walking. If I just touch the brake on the Dualtron Thunder 2, if I just touch it a little bit to make the brake light come on, without squeezing the hydraulic brake, right, just touching the brake enough to make the light activate, which activates the regenerative braking, it'll stop. It'll try to stop really hard, right? And I like that. The Wolf King GTR does not have any, like, almost non-existent electronic braking, regenerative braking below 10 miles an hour. And 10 miles an hour may not sound like a lot of speed, but people have, been really hurt at 10 miles an hour. So now I know we still have the hydraulic brakes, but if I compare the hydraulic brakes of the Dualtron Thunder 2 to the Wolf King GTR, I do like the Dualtron Thunder 2 brakes, but look, it has a different braking system. See these? I mean, look at those brakes, right? That's a really good brake right there. Now, the Wolf, I did read before I even purchased the Wolf King GTR. I love that scooter, by the way. I love it. But I read that those parts can be changed and upgraded, so that's something I can do. But I had another accident on the Wolf King GTR, and it was my mistake. And I hit the throttle when it was on full power. I was talking to someone, and I know I said this the other day in the video, but I leaned on the scooter, and it took off at full speed, and it's dragging me down the street. I didn't want to let go of it, and it looked like I was skiing, like I was sliding on the. Now, if someone had that on a security camera, it'd be so cool. I shouldn't say that, should I? It wasn't fun at all, but it woke me up, I'll say that. I didn't let go of the scooter. I'm not letting go of the scooter, right? Because where's it going to go? It's going to crash into a car. It could hit somebody. So I'm trying to stop the scooter. Finally, my hand slid off the throttle enough, and I was still holding it, that the scooter came to a stop, and I set it down on the ground. But I've had that happen so many times. Now, that's my own mistake. I should not be leaning on that throttle. But with this kind of throttle, I haven't seen that happen as much, if at all, which is I'll call it the up-down thumb throttle, right? I use thumb throttles. But on the Wolf King GTR, I put the other thumb throttle on, the one that goes like this, that you slide in like that, sideways. And that's the one I keep hitting. I go like this to the scooter, and it just takes off. And sometimes I forget to turn the power down. And the other day, I did that. I forgot to turn the power down, and the scooter took off on me. And luckily, it didn't get damaged too bad, and I also didn't get too hurt on it. It could have been much worse. I was thinking if I was in front of a business, I shouldn't say all this, but I'm going to, because I want to help it to be real to me that it happened. I'm glad that no one was in front of the scooter, no one got hurt. I'm glad that I wasn't in front of a business and the scooter could have jumped into the window, right? Jumped through the glass of a business and damaged things. It could have damaged the car. I'm concerned about these things, so I'm thinking, how can I make a kill switch on the brake that can Cameron was telling me, you can wire a kill switch on the brake, maybe get it from a motorcycle or something, because motorcycles, Cameron was explaining to me, have kill switches where it kills the power when the kickstand's down. The day that this happened on the Wolf King GTR, I'm just telling you a story right now while I'm charging my Dualtron Thunder 2. We're still at 22 amps here. It's doing very well. We're at 75% charge already. That's very good. I've only been charging for like 30 minutes. $1,868 watts going in right now. That's 1,800, almost 1,900 watts going in right now. So what was I saying? On the Wolf King GTR, I leaned on the throttle. I was talking to someone. I leaned on the throttle by accident. The scooter took off. It's dragging me down the street. I'm like skiing on the cement, right? I'm sliding like this. I'm sliding. The scooter's pulling me, and it's literally doing a wheelie and chirping, like it's full throttle, and it's jumping around. I can't even imagine what happened. Like 40 people saw this happen to me, and everybody ran over to help me. I was okay. I thanked everyone. People couldn't believe I held on to it. People were like, "You held on to it? Wow." It was traumatic. I think I can say that. It was scary that happened. I'm not blaming the scooter, but what I will say is that there needs to be some safe way that I can't hit that throttle on the scooter. Now, I don't have that experience with the Dualtron Thunder 2 because I think this is a different throttle. I don't know how to put this throttle on the Wolf King GTR. I don't have a plug-and-play system. I would have to like wire it up, and I don't want to experiment with that right now and accidentally hook it up wrong. I don't, because the scooter's so new, I don't know what I can do with it completely right now. I don't know, does someone make a throttle like this that I can just put on there, and then I still have the braking situation, right? So right now I'm just riding the Dualtron Thunder 2 again right now, while I wait to decide what I'm going to do with the brakes and also the throttle on the Wolf King GTR. But I'm very happy that I can charge this Dualtron Thunder 2 at such high power. I'm all about fast charging. You guys have all heard me talk about G batteries all the time, and I'm like, why is it called G batteries if you guys don't make batteries? And you guys developed an AI based algorithm, artificial intelligence based algorithm, that will not let the battery build up resistance while you're fast charging it. I love that. I mean, I can't believe that every company that makes chargers is not making their own version of that right now, or maybe they are. But I want to experiment with fast charging. I want to do exactly what G Batteries is doing, which G Batteries, I mean, I want to do what they did, how they started. They started out experimenting with with charging cell phones in different ways. Okay, so I don't know exactly what they did. Were they using high voltage? Were they using low current? Were they using pulses? It sounds like they were. That's what it sounds like. So can I do that? Can I experiment with that too? I want to. So I'm thinking about that. I would like to repeat the steps, walk in the footsteps, and stand on the shoulders of giants, right? G Batteries is a giant. They're a giant. Tesla knows about them. I talked to Tesla years ago. Everyone I talked to that works for Tesla, and I said, have you heard of G Batteries? They said, absolutely. They know about G Batteries. I said, are you guys developing your own version of that, or are you working with G Batteries? And I cannot repeat exactly what they said, but it sounds like they're definitely working on something. And are they working with G Batteries directly? I don't know. Because, Tesla employees are very specific and careful about how they talk and what they say. But I will say this, they all knew about G Batteries, and it makes sense that they would, right? And I liked that they were aware of that. And G Batteries is the real deal. It's the real thing. They've won awards. They have recognition for what they've done. And they also have apologies from scientists throughout the world who cursed at them, calling them hoaxsters and scammers when they first came out with their system, because so many people had claimed in the past that they achieved fast charging batteries with pulsing and stuff like that. Well, I don't know what G Batteries did different, but they took it to a next level and they achieved it. They really did it, and they proved it over and over and over. And they're successfully doing this, and they're preserving cycle life. They are preserving cycle life. If you slow charge your battery, you plug it in your 110 outlet at home to charge your electric car, that will kill your battery first, faster than fast charging it in 5 to 10 minutes with the G Batteries artificial AI-based algorithms, the programming they wrote, the self-learning programs they wrote they get to know the battery on a personal level. They get to know that battery. Their system, their AI-based system, gets to know the battery, and it's changing the frequency, if I say it that way, before resistance builds up. It's avoiding the resistance, and it's changing the frequency, if I say it that way. So is it changing the frequency, the cycles per second? Is it changing the current? Is it changing the voltage? Or all of those? I just love it. I love that. So I don't know how they did it. I'm interested in electrical and mechanical engineering. Am I an electrical and mechanical engineer? I don't know if I qualify as one, but I certainly am interested in it, and I would like to learn more. And I've read books, and do they make sense? I don't know. Maybe sometimes they do, but do I have it all memorized? No. Could I walk in the footsteps of G Batteries to repeat what they did when they started out charging cell phone batteries with all these different experiments they did in their basement or in their garage? And now they're running this company that's very successful, and they're doing research all the time. They're always running tests. And I just can't believe that no one else has brought this out. Or maybe they have. Maybe they've brought other variations of this out and they have a different name for it. Maybe they don't even call it fast charging. Maybe it's just being used in private industry. I don't know. But I would love to charge my Dualtron Thunder 2 in 10 minutes with a low resistance approach to charging, right? Let's see what's happening here. We're still at 22 amps. Let's see how everything feels. This is cold. The adapter's cold. This is cold. Everything's cold. All the wires are cold. The charger is just warm because those fans are working harder now. I don't have to bring my fans. I didn't even know that. This is why they say experiment, experiment. I'm doing an experiment today. I'm charging at a higher current than I ever charged before, 22 amps. We've been putting 1,800 watts in this thing, almost 1,900 watts in this thing, in this scooter. We've been putting 1,900 watts in this for over 10 minutes, 20 minutes now, continuously, and it's doing very, very well. We're already at 82% charge at 77.5 volts. It's already showing full on the bars. I mean, this is the way to do it, everyone. For me, I'm talking about myself. I'm very happy with this. I mean, this means, you know, I can ride for hours and hours and hours and just charge for like an hour, right? Like 1 hour of charging can give me many hours of riding. And that brings me back to the Segway GT2 that I had. I think Segway's doing a great job. I love, right now, because of the accident I had with the Wolf King GTR with the throttle, and again, that's my own mistake. I changed the throttle to a thumb throttle, and then I lean on it, and the thing takes off. That's my mistake. It's not anything that Cabo did. They didn't do anything wrong. I want to make that very clear that I made that mistake. I would love if the scooter, when it stopped, if it went into park mode each time you stopped, just like the Segway GT1 and GT2 do. I love that, and I'm thinking about getting that scooter again. Right now, I'm missing that safety feature very much because of the accidents I've been having with hitting the throttle. I've had a lot of them. I've brought my scooter indoors places where I forgot to turn the throttle off, and I'm getting through the door and I'm walking in, and then I lean on the throttle and the thing's doing a burnout. Both wheels are burning out. They're spinning, right? They're spinning in one place. I'm holding it as tight as I can, and it's like trying to pull me, and then I let off the throttle, but I'm still holding the I'm still holding it. I'm still holding the grip, but I'm able to let off the throttle part, right, and still hold it. You know how hard that is to do? And it's just getting worse. My accidents are getting worse and worse, and the most recent one a couple days ago was the worst one so far. I'm not going to keep doing that. When I see a mistake happening, I'm not going to keep putting myself in a position where it's going to keep repeating itself, because it's going to get worse, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. So I'm thinking about the Segway GT1 and GT2 again, but I do know, I'm going to give you an example of what Cameron and I did the other day. Cameron and I went for a ride, and this is in the past, I don't know, I guess I'll say past 4 weeks. I don't know exactly when it was. It might have been a week or two ago, but I'll say within the past 4 weeks, Cameron and I went on a ride, and I was riding the Dualtron Thunder 2, and Cameron was riding the Segway GT1. We're both riding exactly the same, keeping up with each other, riding the same, doing the same things, going the same speed, same acceleration, everything, right? And at the end of the ride, Cameron's telling me, okay, I'm at 1 bar or whatever it was at. It was at a low power. It was time to stop, okay? The battery was done. And Cameron says to me, that's it. I'm at 1 bar or whatever it was at, but that was the end of it. And then I said, I'm at 97%, Cameron. 97%. The battery was still almost full. I mean, 97% is full, essentially, right? It's almost full. So that's an example if I compare the Dualtron Thunder 2 to the Segway GT1. Now, of course, this scooter costs a lot more. Is it 2 times more, 3 times more? I don't know what the difference in price is. But I'll tell you right now, if Segway made the GT1 and GT2 with a lot longer range, like many times longer, I mean, how about a 4,000 watt hour battery? Like a 40 amp hour battery. What about a 40 amp hour battery? I think it has a 1 kilowatt battery in the GT1 and a 1,500 watt hour battery in the GT2, if I recall correctly. I think the GT2 is a 1,512, right? 1,512 watt hour battery. And it just doesn't last very long. And when I ride, I want to go riding for a really long time. And also the charge time, as you can see here, I want to charge fast. I want to be able to charge my scooter at 20 amps. You know what I was charging my Segway GT2 at? This is the Segway GT2, which is a masterpiece of electrical and mechanical engineering. That's a true masterpiece. but I'm charging it with 2 chargers that came with it. There was no other chargers available for that scooter at this time. And I'm charging it, I think, at 4 amps, 2 amps for each charger, 4 amps. I'm charging this scooter at 22 amps right now. So these are some of the things. There's room for improvement, you know, but even with that said, I still look forward to having a Segway GT1 or GT2 one day again, and being able to go riding with Cameron, because he loves that scooter and I still love the scooter. I just wish it had more range, and I wish it had faster charging capabilities. If it had those 2 things, it would be like a different world, you know, to me. It would be so different. But I know people love those scooters just as they are. And, you know, but you know, I know people are happy with them. That's just the way my brain works. I always am looking for what would make me like it more. What do I want, right? And that's how we all look at things, isn't it? We all say, yeah, what do we want particularly? What's specific to us, to our experience? Okay, now I'm going to talk one more thing about the Segway GT1 and GT2. I really wish they had better suspension. Now, they have great suspension for track. I'm just saying that because the suspension is very good. But if you hit tree roots, I hit tree roots in the street, right? Where the root pushes the cement up and you have a 3-inch vertical cement. That happens. I hit it with this scooter. I hit it with the Wolf King GT Pro, Wolf King GTR. With the Wolf King GT Pro and Wolf King GTR, it handles the bumps the best. That's like people call it the ultimate off-road scooter. It is. It's the ultimate off-road scooter, and it's got a pretty good sized battery in it. It's not as big as this one in the Dualtron Thunder 2, but it's significantly bigger than the Segway GT1 and GT2, right? Significantly bigger. And I can't believe I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I started looking at the charger again. We're still putting 22 amps in there. I get so frustrated when I lose my train of thought. There's just so many things I'm excited about. I think I was talking about the suspension on the Segway GT1 and GT2. Yes, I was. So on the Segway GT1 and GT2, I would really like them to have, how do I say this? I don't know how to say it, but I'll just say it this way. I need to be able to hit a 3-inch or 4-inch cement bump where the root pushes that up, because that's all over the bike paths. That's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's potholes everywhere. There's holes. The bike paths are all tore up. They're bad. I hate to use these words, but they're just terrible. They got these bumps. They have cracks, big cracks where bicycle wheels could just fall right in it. You know, like if there's a crack going the same way you're riding, if you go in that, you're going to go over the handlebars. And I've met people that have done that. A friend of mine did that, went flying over the bars. He got really, really hurt on his mountain bike. Really hurt, bad. You know, he was doing like, I think 45 miles an hour down a hill, and there was a crack in the road and the tire went in it. And there's also another friend that I talked to that happened to a couple years ago, and they got really hurt as well. They went face first right into the ground from those kind of cracks in the road, right? So when car lanes say bike lane, share with the bike, that kind of stuff, well, the roads need to be maintained better. They really do. They need to be maintained. I've reported these things many times. Nothing has been done. It's been years. I've been reporting the paths for 7 years, and the paths have not been fixed. The bumps in the road. I stopped calling after like 35 phone calls. Over the years, I just stopped. But I think if we all did it, if we all call, then maybe something will get done. It takes numbers, right? It takes big numbers, right? Lots of people calling. Maybe I'll get those phone numbers and things put together and make a video and make it easier for you guys to call, so that we can all just call in and say, can you please fix these paths? And we'll just call in, everywhere that we ride and see if we can get some of this fixed. Because I see people getting hurt all the time. I see kids getting hurt. Their bikes, they're following their parents on the bike paths, and they hit a little bump and they go flying off their bike and they're screaming. We need to make the roads need to be micromobility safe, right? You put those signs on the road saying it's share the lane, share the road, and then but I think the roads have to also be friendly to micromobility. Not just putting a sign there saying share the road to cars, telling cars to share the road, but also the roads have to be safe for micromobility, all micromobility, especially bicycles, right? Especially everything though. So I was talking about the Segway GT1 and GT2, and I was saying that if they had a softer suspension, now I know they have an adjustment, right? But even on full softness, I still was hitting those bumps, and both my hands would come off the handlebars. Now, Cameron, my friend Cameron, was explaining to me that that happened to him, but my understanding was the reason it happened to him, which is an interesting analysis. Cameron was able to notice that the reason his hands came off the steering was because the Segway GT1 is so comfortable to ride, and the GT2. They have the same suspension, I think. The Segway GT1 and GT2, they're so comfortable and so easy to ride that you relax. And then when you hit a bump, it just throws your hands off because you're not ready for that, right? Now, with that said, when I ride the Wolf King GTR and Wolf King GT Pro, right, I've hit the same bumps and being relaxed, because those scooters are also very easy to ride. They're very stable. And at high speeds, at all speeds, they're very stable. So I'm just relaxing my hands, and my hands didn't really come off. I don't think they came off at all on that. No, they didn't come off. I would know it if they came off. But on the Segway GT1 and the Segway GT2, on those scooters, when I hit the bump, my hands come off, and then my forearm would touch. I would be steering with my forearm until I grabbed the grip again. So I think the design of the suspension is very good, but I don't know if it's the spring or if it just needs more travel. I don't know what it needs, but I'm just saying if the ride quality was similar or comparable to I'll compare it to the Wolf King GTR, which is the best suspension of any scooter I've ever ridden. It's my favorite right now, and I've had a Nami Bernie Viper, and that's one of my least favorite suspensions. Not because it floats, right? It's very floaty. That's not because of that. I mean, if you want a floaty scooter, very soft, it's nice, but because the way it feels to ride it, like it felt like it wants to turn, right? I want to clarify something, because someone said something in a video recently that helped me understand that I have to say things the way I mean them. I have to really say things in a very communicative way, right? Because I had said that the Dualtron, like Thunder 2 and the Dualtron scooters that have the suspension where it goes back and then forward like that, right? This part right here. See how this goes back and then forward? It goes back and then forward, right? And so it's going like this when I'm riding. Compared to the Wolf King GT Pro and Wolf King GTR, where it's like a motorcycle suspension, right? If I compare the two scooters, the Wolf King GTR is very easy to ride. And I've been told it's because of the dual forks that go all the way down. I know there's scooters that have the dual forks up high, and then down by the wheel they stop, and then it has this kind of suspension underneath that. Well, it was explained to me that by someone that's really, really knowledgeable and very good at riding these scooters, that you can get used to this suspension. And after that was said to me, I did become more comfortable with it. So someone was telling me they don't even use steering stabilization on the Dualtron scooters, and the wheel doesn't shake, it doesn't try to turn or nothing like that. They got used to it. So since the person told me that, I went out and rode the scooter at high speeds, and I just held on really, really tight, and I feel like I am more comfortable on it, and it helped me to have more confidence by that being explained to me. But I will say this, there is such a significant difference in the way it feels to ride this scooter versus like a Dualtron versus a Wolf King GTR. The way it feels is so different. I'm talking about the suspension. But I will say that I've adjusted to the Dualtron Thunder 2 suspension more. But I will say it this way. I'm more, I don't know how to say it, but I feel more relaxed when I'm riding the Wolf King GTR. I don't know if I call it more relaxed. It's more stable. I mean, I don't know how to compare it. The only thing I want to say to you is try both scooters and see which one you like. You know, I really feel like this scooter, if it had the Wolf King GTR front and rear suspension both, I would be so happy with it. But that's not what this scooter is. So how can I learn to ride the scooter and learn to adjust to it, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm adjusting to the Dualtron Thunder 2. I'm adjusting to it. And I'm enjoying riding it more right now. I am enjoying riding it more. So, but it's, I don't know if I don't feel like I'm very good at comparing scooters. I hope what I say could be helpful to someone, but, you know, people want to know what our experiences are. They want us to share our experiences, and I'm trying to share my experience with you. And maybe sometimes I use the words that may not be the most descriptive, may not be the best words to use, but I am trying my best to explain things in a way that's very clear and concise. I do my best to do that. But I'll tell you this, there's some people that review scooters that are just masters of words, right? And they're very good at explaining things. You know, I've been riding motorcycles since I was 3 years old. I was put on a mini bike, a Honda, at 3 years old, and told how to go, but not told how to stop. They said, don't worry about that. We'll get to that later. All you have to know is how to go, right? And so here I am, 3. I can't reach the ground, and I'm riding a motorcycle, a gasoline-powered motorcycle, before I even know how to ride a bicycle. I was riding I didn't even have a bicycle with training wheels yet, right? And my motorcycle didn't have training wheels. I went out there and went. I learned balance by experience. So it's almost like getting thrown into the deep end to learn to swim, right? That's what it felt like. So, but I am still learning a lot. There's, like I always say on my channel, this channel always explains that there's a lot to learn, and I'm open to learning. So all I can say is I'll do the best to describe things to the best of my ability at the time I'm describing it, but there is more to learn, and I know that. I would have never imagined that I would be as comfortable as I am right now riding the Dualtron Thunder 2 after riding the Wolf King GT Pro and Wolf King GTR, because that scooter is just so easy to ride. And I thought that with the Segway GT1 and GT2 as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the ultimate scooter. How could I ever ride anything else? When I rode that scooter, how could I ride anything else? And I thought my 2 favorite scooters at that time were the Segway GT2, GT1, and also the Wolf King GT Pro, and then later the Wolf King GTR. But when I had that accident where my hands came off the steering of the Segway GT2 and the GT1, when my hands came off the steering when I hit a real sharp bump, that really startled me, and I said, wait a second, I don't want to do that again. And I was really concerned about having that kind of accident again. And I knew if I went down at high speed that it wouldn't be good, right? That would not be good to go down at 45 miles an hour with my hands coming off the steering. And I don't always remember where the bumps are, especially for riding in new terrain. But even riding over the same area I've ridden before, I don't remember where all the bumps are. Especially if I'm passing someone and I'm not looking at the road, I might be looking at them, and I'm going around someone. That's when a couple of my accidents happened. I was going around someone, and I went around them right into these potholes or bumps where the cement was lifted up, just completely forgetting about them. So look, we're doing very good. We're still at 22 amps. I mean, this Dualtron Thunder 2 is like making me so happy right now that I can charge it at 22 amps. And the battery underneath here is not even warm. It's ambient temperature, which right now is cold. Let's check this and see where we're at. We're at 1974 watts going in. That's almost 2,000 watts going in. So 2,000 watts per hour, right? And how many watt hours is this battery? I can never recall. I can't remember all the numbers. But let's see. So this is I think it's a 40 amp hour battery at 84 volts. If we multiply those two numbers, we'll get the watt hours. I think it's like a 4,000 watt hour battery. Anyway, if it was a 4,000 watt hour battery, which I'm not sure at the moment, I cannot recall what the watt hours of the battery. But if it is a 4,000 watt hour, if we say that as an experiment, then it would take 2 hours at 2,000 watts to charge this, right? Because everything's watt hours, right? So 2,000 watts an hour for 2 hours. This would charge in 2 hours. Now the Segway scooter, the Segway GT2 that I had, was a 1,500 watt hour battery, 1,512 watt hours, and I was charging it at 4 amps. and they said it will take 7 to 8 hours. They were telling me it would take 8 hours to charge that battery. Can you imagine that? Imagine charging for 8 hours, and then it has a 1,500 watt-hour capacity battery. I was very frustrated by that, very frustrated. So I don't think any one scooter is going to have it all, right? I think that's why a lot of people have many scooters. Many people have many scooters because each scooter could have something great about it, right? I mean, this scooter has amazing brakes. It has like amazing brakes, amazing regenerative brakes, very powerful, that work at all speeds. It has amazing brake calipers. The nut brakes work very good. So I don't even use those though. I use the electronic braking. I just barely touch the brake, and then I let the electronic braking stop the scooter. I don't use the hydraulic brake. I don't pull it that hard. I just pull it just enough to engage the regenerative braking, and that'll make the brake pads last forever, right? If I keep riding it like that, I'll never have to change my brake pads. I might have to change the brake pads after 100 years because it's just not wearing them out. And I like that. I like that option. So, and what else do I love about this? The power, I think this has, and you have to check for yourself, but I think this has what's called square wave controllers. Those can be fun because it like does burnouts and stuff and like takes off really quick. But I'll tell you something, the Wolf King GTR, it has such smooth acceleration. It's so powerful. It's so powerful, and it has a sine wave controller. And it's a beautiful masterpiece, like, of electrical and mechanical engineering. That scooter's amazing and awesome. I mean, how could a person choose between this and that scooter, right? If you were choosing between the two, I think this one costs a little bit less, but how could a person choose between the two, right? This has a bigger battery. I like the braking system on this better. Although, I'm going to say it this way. I'm going to break this down now. I'm going to break it down to high-speed braking and low-speed braking, because I would say that I like the high-speed braking better on the Wolf King GTR compared to the Dualtron Thunder 2. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, if the scooter's going, if I'm doing 70 miles an hour, which I've done on the Wolf King GTR, if I'm doing 70 miles an hour and I tap the brake, I engage the regenerative braking on the Wolf King GTR, that scooter will stop so fast. It has really good regenerative braking. I have it set to max power. It'll stop so fast until I get down to about maybe 13 or 10 miles an hour. Once I'm at 10 miles an hour, the electronic braking, the regenerative braking disengages, and it just rolls. Now if I want to stop, I have to pull it harder and use the hydraulic brakes, which on the Wolf King GTR, I'm not very happy with the hydraulic braking system that it has. I would rather pay more for the braking system for the scooter and get better brakes, like brakes similar to what this has, right? Like nut brakes or something even better, if there is something better. I'm sure there is. You know, and here's the thing. Now, the brakes on this scooter are absolutely fine, but for some reason I'm imagining, when I think of the Wolf King GTR, I imagine a motorcycle front brake caliper. That may not be practical because they're much larger, but what if we had the material, the thickness of this kind of brake caliper, right? This thickness, but a much bigger brake pad, right? In this disc area where it actually makes contact, not bigger this way, right? Because it can't be, because we can't have it hitting the ground when we turn, right? But can the disc be bigger inward? So all this to be disc, right? From here to here can be disc, right? Here to here, like that much space can be disc. And a big brake pad, right? That's what I want. On that front brake, I want a large brake pad. That's what I imagine. That's what I would like on the Wolf King GTR. And I'm saying it for that scooter because that scooter is so fast and so powerful. Okay, now this one's fast and powerful too, but the braking system it has, I'm happy with it. You know, so then it makes me think, okay, so that's my solution in my own imagination. I think that's my solution in my thoughts on the Wolf King GTR. That's my solution for the brakes the regenerative braking not engaging at 10 miles an hour and less speeds, right? It'll get me down to 10 and then it kind of disengages, and now I'm using that little brake pad to stop. So I'm like, oh, well, if I have to use that little brake pad to stop, I want a bigger brake pad. I want a very big brake pad on on the Wolf King GTR for the front brake. I want a very big, like a motorcycle brake pad, right? So the better option, but I just don't know if it's possible. I wrote Cabo, they never got back to me. It's been like, I think it's been over a month, and they haven't gotten back to me, so I don't think they are. But if they ever do, I'll tell you about it. And I wrote Cabo directly, and I told them, I asked them, is there any solution for the regenerative braking not engaging at 10 miles an hour and below speeds? And, because I want to, I'd like to reprogram the controller or send it in to get reprogrammed. Oh, we're at 2,000 watts now. Look at that. We're putting in 2,000 watts. 1999. 2,000. We're at 2,000, everybody. We're at 2,000 watts right now. We're putting in 2,000 watts at 22 amps. We're at 89 volts. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, so my favorite scooter, I think it's many favorite scooters, right? The Wolf King GTR is my favorite scooter. I still love the Wolf King GT Pro, because what does that scooter have? It has the regenerative braking that stops me all the way to a complete stop, similar to the Dualtron Thunder 2, where that regenerative braking stays engaged and works very effectively all the way until the scooter's completely stopped. I just love that. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. And if they ever can get the Wolf King GTR to do that, I will be so happy. And if I end up selling the Wolf King GTR, and if they make the regenerative braking engage all the way up to 0 RPM, I'll call it that, where it just, if it's rolling at all, and I have electronic regenerative braking set to maximum power, and if it's rolling at all, the scooter's rolling at all, and I touch that brake and it stops it, not with hydraulic brakes, but with electronic regenerative braking, I would buy that scooter again just for that. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have that scooter again because they made the brakes so great. But I still wouldn't have a solution for the throttle, the accidents I'm having with the throttle. I still wouldn't have a solution for that. I'm thinking, like, can I use another throttle or some piece of plastic where it locks me out? So, in other words, can I slide something out of the way before I engage the throttle each time I use the throttle? I want to do that. I'm thinking about it. And there's also the possibility that I just get bored of things really quick. And, a scooter can be the best scooter on the planet, and I'm going to want to get something else. Like, I've had fun with it. I love it. I enjoy it. I know what it is. I know it's great, like the Wolf King GTR. I know that's a great scooter, and I think it's going to be the ultimate scooter for many people. And just as this scooter, I love this scooter too, and I think for many people this is the ultimate scooter. I'm not a person I don't think of myself as someone who's going to be like, oh, I only ride Dualtron, that's it, I don't like anything else. Or I only like the Nami Bernie Viper and I'm not going to ride anything else. I'm more of someone that, like, I want one of those, I want that, I want this, I want one of these, one of those. And that's more like how I feel, because I like something about each scooter, right? Each scooter has something amazing about it. And I love great engineering. And it makes sense that some people are going to master this on their design. Other people are going to master this on their design. Other people master that on their design. And it's not going to all be in one scooter, right? Not yet. Now, what if it was? What if every scooter had the best regenerative electronic braking, where you can program when it engages, when it disengages, how strong it is, how smooth it is, be able to switch between square wave and sine wave controllers, right? You just switch it through programming. Or it's two sine wave controllers or one big sine wave controller like the Wolf King GTR, but you can set settings to make it act like it's a square wave controller. Or you can flip a switch or press a program and it makes it a square wave controller, where you can just program everything. So what if all scooters have the best of everything? What would we do then? I think we would still buy multiple scooters. I would probably still, because I want to support different companies, right? I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing. Everybody's doing their own thing, their own way, in different ways, right? I mean, yeah, so I feel like that. Maybe that's why it's hard. I don't know. That seems common, though. I mean, a lot of people have multiple scooters. Some people have a whole room full of scooters. I could be wrong, but I think Ginger on Wheels, I never confirmed this, but it looks like he might have a whole room full of scooters. And I've seen that with many people, and that's wonderful. I think that's great. I had 20 scooters in my place at one time, and luckily Cameron said, what's the ideal number of scooters to have? And I love that he asked me that question. I feel like he saved my life, and I'm sure many people ask me that. But when Cameron asked me, and the way he did it, the way he asked, and the way, I don't even know exactly what he said, but he kept asking me over time, and it really made me think. And I thought, I don't need these other scooters. And I gave some away, and to people that couldn't afford, scooters, and one person, a friend, was telling me like they'll never have a scooter this nice in their life, and and they just love that scooter so much, and I gave it to him. I gave him a scooter. I did that, and I felt good about doing it. I learned that I was greedy though, because I didn't realize that when I give something away, I wanted the person to be grateful and excited, and we're not supposed to want that from someone. If we give a gift to somebody, we're not supposed to want them to be grateful and happy, and so I'm still learning to be a bigger giver, right? So I'm selfish still. I'm still selfish, even though I gave something away that I could have sold for a lot of money. I found out about myself that I'm still selfish because I wanted someone to say, man, thank you so much. You just made my day. You made my year. You made my life, right? This is something I just told you I could never get in my life because of their circumstances, right? The way they perceive themselves in their life. They can't even imagine ever having something that nice. And I said, here, this is yours. That meant a lot to me. But I wanted them to be happy, and I'm not supposed to want that, I guess. So I learned something about myself. So maybe I'm a little bit selfish, and I apologize. I'm working on it though. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. Let me tell you something, everybody. I want to thank all of you for being here and for sharing your thoughts, your dreams with the world, and for making the world a better place just because you're here, just because you exist. Everyone, we're almost fully charged. We're at 83 volts. That's good enough for me. We're at 22 amps. Let's see what the scooter reads now. I can't believe that while I've been talking to you for the past 51 minutes, this scooter fully charged itself. I just can't believe this. And I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, but I am going to say we're still putting 2,032 watts in. That amazes me. I'm still putting 2,000 watts in, even though we're 100% charged. And that's because the voltage is still at 83.6 volts. Now, once it's full, that charger will cut off. It'll drop the amps to zero. They'll progressively go down. We might film that. I'm not going to touch the current. And we'll just watch that current drop, okay? I'm not going to touch the current. Usually I turn it down when the battery's getting full or is full. And today we'll go ahead and let it go to the end. We'll charge the Thunder. We're charging the Thunder up. I just want to say that it's such a beautiful and exciting life that we have here in this world. And I know I talk about many things. I never focus just on one thing. I talk about many things. So I call the channel kind of like my journal. And maybe someday I'll change the name, because right now it's True Zero Emissions. And that came from seeing on car stickers on cars when they would say partial zero emissions vehicle. And I would be like, partial zero? What's a partial zero? Like, that's weird. So I said, what if we just call it True Zero? And let's just make the goal to not pollute the air, right? And then people are like, oh, but if you're riding electric, you're still burning coal to make the power. And they're right. But guess what? Research that. If 100% of your power came from coal, you still pollute the air half as much compared to running a gasoline-powered car. I don't know if you knew that. That's not hard to find. I learned that from Plug in America. I used to volunteer with Plug in America many years ago. And Plug in America has lots of statistics and lots of facts. And if you volunteer with them, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about a lot of things. And they're a great group of people to volunteer with. And they just keep getting better and better. Plug in America, right? No plug, no deal. That was a great thing. That was great. Okay, so let's see where we're at now. Yeah, that was like what people were telling the automakers. They're like, no plug, no deal. If you can't plug it in, I'm not buying one. Because if you say you're not going to buy something unless it has something, watch how fast they put a plug on it. And that's what's happened, everyone. People said, I want the choice. I wanted the choice of hey, I have solar panels on my house. I power my home with solar. And I'm just saying, I'm giving you an example, right? I know a lot of people that power their homes with solar panels. And I also know people that won't put solar on their home and said it's not good for them. And I'm like, it is. Because I know people that have it, and not only are they saving hundreds of dollars a month, but they also drive their car for free because it pays their car's charged at their house, their electric car. So, but some people, you know, somehow they're just, I guess it depends on where you learn and what you read, what websites you read, and who you talk to. But I guess there's still ways for people to perceive that solar, even if you live in a sunny area, that solar is still not. They think that it might not be good for them. Nice car. So, but I think solar is great because it's helped everyone that I know that has solar. Anyway, everyone, let's see where we're at. We're still putting 2,000 watts in, and we're at 22 amps, 83.9 volts. We're very, very, very full on our charge right now. How many hours do you think I could ride this scooter with that charge? A lot of hours. The battery never warmed up. The battery never got warm. So this is a special thanks to Mini Motors USA, and also I'll thank Voro Motors for selling. They sell the Dualtrons as well. Okay, is our power dropping? The power's dropping right now. Look at that, it's dropping. It's full. It's cutting power. The charger is cutting power because the battery's getting close to full now. See, it's at 84.2 volts. Let's just watch that power go down. Oh, so I think what I was beginning to say earlier was that it's very important as a world that we work together to collaborate and create solutions. It's very important. And in place of war, in place of that, to have the same commitment, brevity, I think it's called brevity, braveness, right? To work together, right? That takes great courage to work together and to collaborate. So, you know, some people feel that war is necessary to get things done, to make people pay attention and to notice their ideas. But I was taught there's nothing more brave and nothing more courageous than communicating needs, right? Communicating the needs of what everyone needs, and learning how to communicate and ask for what you need, and also how to provide and help people meet their needs. That these things are all very, very important. What year is that?
17.
That's very nice. I think that's might be my favorite one that I've seen so far.
Not really?
Well, you got the yellow caliper. Can I show it in my video?
Sure. No, I did that myself. It's
I've never seen. This is a BMW i3, right?
Yeah.
Does it have the range extender?
Yep.
Awesome. And you painted the calipers yourself?
Yeah.
They look really good. It looks good though.
Huh?
It looks good.
Thank you.
I do. It looks good. It does. This is one of my favorite cars right here. It's the BMW i3. This is a 2017.
You try it? Work?
There's another one
Did you
right
try
there.
25? I'm sorry. Try 25?
Okay, let's see what our power's at now. I might have to move my scooter because this guy's... Oh, whoa! Make sure this guy doesn't run into my scooter. Am I in your way? Am I in your way, sir?
Pardon me?
Am I in your way?
No.
Okay. Just, I didn't know if you saw me, that's all.
Am I bothering you?
No. Oh, you got a backup camera, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm just making a video right now. All right, so we're down to 18 amps. So the amperage turned itself down by itself because it was at 22 amps, remember that? So now we're at 17 amps, 84 volts, and the current will continue to go down. The current will continue to go down until it's fully charged.
I just started, but I don't know. Yesterday, I couldn't situate anything.
There's another BMW i3 right there. That's 3 of them right here. 3 of them. 3 of them. These are all free chargers, by the way. These are free chargers. Free power right here. See that one? Those are really nice cars. I like these cars. Okay, everyone, I might get off the charge to let these guys charge their cars up. Now, this is another important thing that I talk about when charging at an electric vehicle charging station is the faster I can get my scooter charged and out of there is the faster someone else can plug their car in or whatever they're charging, right? This is very important. How quickly can I charge and get out? Charge and go, right? Can I do 30 minutes charging? Can I do an hour charging? Can I do 20 minutes of charging? I want to charge as fast as I can and get off the charger so someone else can use it. And we need more chargers. There's so much growth with chargers right now, so many new chargers going in, but that needs to continue at an exponential rate, and it is, but we need to keep supporting it. And I know it's happening, and I know the demand is there, and I know that I think they're building these charging stations as fast as they can, but you know, in California, which is where we are, they've already outlawed. There's a law in place that's going to go into effect. It was supposed to go into effect in 2025, I think, which is only a year or two away, where no more new gasoline cars can be sold in this state of California, if I understood correctly. But that date got pushed back a little bit. But you know what? People aren't waiting for that. People are still buying electric and buying plug-in hybrids and all these things, and I think people are just making it happen, right? And as that continues to happen, people are also, there's more people charging than ever. But luckily, charging at home is possible as well. And oftentimes there's incentives to help pay for the charger at home. So that's an option as well. You can check into that. Okay, let's see where we're at. Now remember, I set the voltage on that charger and I had it set to 84.6. So it's gonna take it to that voltage I set it at, right? That's what it's doing. And here we already have 84.4. I don't really see any need to go on beyond what I'm at, so I'm just gonna turn it off. Just because there's so many people that need the charger right now, I don't have to top this battery off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off the chargers so that other people can use it. Now, how amazing is it that I just charged my scooter, my Dualtron Thunder 2, with an electric vehicle charging station. You see full-size cars here, and imagine how much faster I can charge this than someone charging their electric vehicle, right? Isn't that great? Anyway, everyone, True Zero Emissions here, signing off for the day, or signing off for the moment. We'll be back later, I'm sure, and I hope we'll be back making more videos. But I do want to say that if you want to get a charger like this, just look up the Roger charger, ROGER charger, and there's videos on YouTube about the Roger charger and also how to connect with Roger through an app. There's an app that he uses. I think it's called Telegram. I always get confused if it's Telegram or Telegraph. It's one of those, but there's an app, and you'll see how to connect with him if you look him up on YouTube. And you can also go to Alien Ride's website, and Alien Ride sells this adapter right here. It's a 240 volt adapter, which means 240 volt in, 240 volt out. And then this charger auto detects what's coming into it, so it knows it's getting 240. It knows if I'm plugged into the 110 volt wall or if I'm plugged into 240 volt. It knows, and it detects it automatically and adjusts to that. It adjusts to that voltage, that input voltage. So I can be charging at home, or a regular 110 volt plug, 120 volt plug, or a 220 or 240 volt plug, or the electric vehicle charging station, level 2 charging station. And Alien Ride's website sells these adapters right here. What I really like about this too is that it has this light here, and just today I was not sure if this charger worked because I went to a couple charging stations that weren't working, and then I just took the adapter and plugged it in. When I saw the light come on, that's when I knew that that there was power on this one and that it worked. So I'm going to start keeping this very close by where I can get to it easily without, because usually I keep it in the bottom of my backpack. I'm going to keep it on the top where I can reach it easily and just plug it in real quick and see if there's any power on a charging station. That way I'm not like unpacking everything, pulling the charger out, everything. I can just see, is there power there? Okay, there is. Let me now unpack and get everything going. Now, how nice would it be if the charger was mounted on the scooter, you know, somewhere like down here, right? Like down here on a backpack, mounted there, but it would need vents. I would have to have it to where when I can open up the zipper and let air breathe through there. It would have to have vents from the top and the bottom or something. It has to be able to breathe. But how nice would it be if the charger was mounted to the scooter and I could just plug right into it without getting everything out, right? And I think that'll happen someday. I think scooters will also start to come with chargers built into them. That may happen, right? That may happen someday. It makes sense that it would that could be an option for people, and then I wouldn't have to unpack things and have a backpack. I don't mind it though. Right now I'm okay with that. And let's see what we're at now. Oh, we're at 14 amps. It's down to 14 amps now. And it's saying 84.7 volts, so it's very, very full. And again, remember that I set the voltage on the charger, so I set it to that higher voltage. That was something I did, putting 1313 watts in. I think it's a good time to stop. So the way I stop this is I turn the current down. See how high the current is right now? I'm going to turn the current down. Current is off. The fans will still run. I'm going to let those run to let the charger cool down. So I'll just let that run a little bit. Okay, everyone. True Zero Emissions signing off. And I look forward to watching your videos, sharing your experience with micromobility, electric micromobility, your electric bikes, your electric scooters, your dreams of what you would like to have, the ultimate electric bike or the ultimate electric scooter. And know that people are reading your comments. Companies that exist already and new companies starting up read all the comments of what people are looking for, and they want to create, everyone wants to create the ultimate perfect scooter. So know that people are researching this. I've been told by many people that they read all the comments and they're looking for what everyone wants. What's everybody asking for, right? And when people say they want something, know that that's being considered. And never forget, you can always start your own company. Just like when the auto industry started, there was many, many automakers, many. And that's happening now with micromobility. There's many companies offering so many choices. And you know what? There's something for everyone. Okay, True Zero Emission signing off. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.